Hello everyone, it's me Erin, and today I have another video for you. So before I get started, I do want to talk about something that is very close to me personally, and that is Black Lives Matter. I will not be making a video about that or being a black booktuber on booktube, obviously, because I simply feel like everything that I would personally say has already been said. However, just because that's how I feel doesn't mean I'm going to not acknowledge it. So therefore, I'll be linking some petitions and places you can donate down below, as well as some videos that I personally connected with from other black booktubers. And I hope that you guys go and give those a watch because they are very educational and the truth. So yeah. Did a full 180. When I planned that out in my head, I was going to be the one doing the 180. But I got too comfortable in this chair. So hopefully you still like that little twirl. Anyways, so today we are tier ranking Sarah J. Maas books. I believe like 2 videos ago, which is also about 3 months ago, I did say I want to do this or something similar to it. And somebody was like, yeah, do that, girl. And so whoever that person was, this is for you. Anyways, as always, I need to first describe the tiers. So our top tier is simply iconic. I don't say that right, so I'm gonna insert a clip. Iconic! Like that. Thank you. It's pretty self-explanatory. I mean, it's not one of my more creative ones, but I can only... I never said I was a creative person, so... if you're let down by that, it's your fault. The next one I have is Paris syndrome. If you don't know what Paris syndrome is, it's pretty much this term used to describe a very intense feeling of disappointment that people experience when they go to Paris because it's not, I mean, the place that they expect it to smell like croissants no matter where you're walking, or rose petals aren't just randomly falling from the sky. And for me, I chose that as like my almost iconic tier because like, yeah, Paris is still beautiful, it's still this amazing place, it's still the city of love, but it's not as wonderful as we kind of hoped it to be. And I feel like that's a really good way to describe some of these books. Like, it's still great, I still appreciate it for what it is, but it's not iconic. Next up I have Azriel. Azriel is a Sarah J. Maas character, and the reason I chose him as being the name for like my mid-level tier is pretty much the fact that he is a meh character. I mean, it's not even because of his personality, he's just so underdeveloped that I feel like he has the potential, we just didn't harness it, and I think that can apply to a lot of her books, so I felt like it was suiting. And yeah, my second to last tier is not hell but Florida, which I know some of y'all are gonna take personally, but if you think that Florida is a great place, you're in denial. It's Stockholm syndrome. You are from Florida probably. Then lastly I have Now It's Hell because the final destination, the lowest of the low. So those are all my tiers, and without further ado, let's go ahead and rank all these books. So the first book we have here is Crescent City, and honestly, I'm gonna have to put Crescent City and Azriel. It's not a bad book, but the best way to describe it is it's almost like watching that video of that girl that just sings her orders at Starbucks. Now the day bleeds and the night falls and you're not here to get me through it all. I let my guard down and then you pull the rug. I was getting kinda used to being someone you loved.
It's good.
Thank you.
What song is that? I didn't even heard that song.
It's called Someone You Love. I'm like obsessed with that.
You
Thank
killed
you.
it, though. Yeah.
You have an amazing day.
She was a good singer, but did we ask for her? We're just trying to make Starbucks orders. We already hate our job. The customers suck. And then this girl comes and she's just singing her butt off. And it's like, yeah, you're great, but also why? And with Crescent City, like, it's not a bad book, but there were just parts that I feel like made the book so boring. Like, honestly, if you read Crescent City, the first 40% of the novel is literally a history lesson, and it's like, I get it, we are building this new world, it's not quite familiar. That being said, I don't need you to spitball every single thing about this environment that's not quite relevant to the story yet. Like, I get that we don't want to have something pop up and make it seem like it just came out of nowhere, but at the same time, I feel like you can still slowly build up and sprinkle in relevant information, or just simply mention something and have the world still feel complete. You can expand on things later. And that was like my main issue with Crescent City. Next up, we have the Assassin's Blade. The Assassin's Blade is going in not hell, but Florida. Similar to Florida, I can appreciate certain aspects of the Assassin's Blade. For example, the silent assassins are kind of like my Disney World. But similarly to Florida, there are just certain things in this book that you did not want, or simply did not need, or even expect, that you just kind of had the side eye.
Look at that, caught on camera in Florida. That was a man in swim trunks who appeared to fall out of the sky and onto a parked car at a dealership. Employees noticed the car was dented, and so they checked their surveillance cameras.
That's why I put this book where I did. Don't kill me, I don't hate it, it's just not a book that I care about. I don't even have one on my bookshelf. So next up, we have Throne of Glass, the first book in the Throne of Glass series, and I'm gonna also have to put this one in Azrael. So honestly, it can either go up or down. I'm legitimately not sure because I am very biased when it comes to this book. Throne of Glass is the book I credit with making me want to start reading more. So with that being said, I'm not sure I can like give it a genuine opinion. I mean, I always enjoy it when I reread it, but there's also just a lot of nostalgia there. Honestly, I think this series is a bit like my Harry Potter. I hate that comparison because I hate J.K. Rowling, but but in terms of like nostalgia and always loving and appreciating it despite its flaws, that's what this series is for me, to be honest. So yeah, I don't know, I just feel like putting Throne of Glass in the lore would like hurt me physically. But then again, maybe I wouldn't mind that so much. Next up, we have Crown of Midnight, and y'all are about to disagree with me, but I said what I said. Well, I haven't said it yet, but you know it's true. Listen. The first time I read Crown of Midnight, I was not a fan, but that was because I knew what was going to happen between the main characters, and I was just really not here for it. And some of the things that were going on in that book, I couldn't really appreciate because I knew it was going to crash and burn. However, I reread all the books in the series last year in February, and when I read Crown of Midnight, I was in shock because there were just so many scenes that I took for granted. So many plot lines that just really set the foundation up for this series that I didn't really notice or appreciate before. And looking back on it, I really like Kay Elena, okay? I really did. I mean, it didn't work out, that's fine. Life happens. But this is a good book. I still like it. Honestly, I was kind of mad for like the next 2 books about the fact that KO just turned into this jerk. But it's okay. I mean,
a motherfucking, down, fucking.
So next up we have Air of Fire, which used to be my former favorite. However, things have obviously changed, and I'm going to be putting this in Paris Syndrome. Hi everyone, it's the Aaron from Your Nightmares. I was just editing and I realized that I kind of hate the way I explain my feelings on Air of Fire because they really are so complex, and it's still a very important book to me, so I feel like I had to do my explanation for why it's Paris Syndrome in a very articulate and understandable way, and that was just not what it was beforehand. So in short, my not even problem with Air of Fire, but what kept me from putting it in the iconic level was simply the fact that I did not have fun reading it the second time around. Honestly, I feel like the first time I read it, I was kind of caught up in the excitement about Elena and Rowan and that relationship. However, the second time, I focused a lot more on just Aelin as a character, which is what I should have done the first time. And it was just this very depressing experience for me. And although I understand why it was that, doesn't mean I had a great time being there, you know? So although I can appreciate it for what it is and what it did for our characters in terms of growth or just directing their future paths, it was just not a great experience for me as a reader, and I just feel like I can't sit here and pretend like it was. However, I will say that the first time I ever read Air of Fire and literally every single other book in the Throne of Glass series, I did not care about Manon or Eli. So I skipped their POVs completely. And when I finally read those for the first time, it just changed the game for me, obviously, because I was cutting out literally a whole entire narrative going on in a novel. So, for me, like, meeting Manon and Eli, getting to know them was what kind of, like, made my day. It was the action, it was the fun, it was the spark that I need to get through Air of Fire, but still just was not the greatest time for me. But then again, like I said, I do still appreciate it for what it is. So, yeah. Next up, we have Queen of Shadows, and a lot of people will tell you that Queen of Shadows is the best book in the Throne of Glass series. And they're probably right. I know I just insist it was Crown of Midnight. But, I mean, objectively speaking, trying to remove my feelings about Crown of Midnight, it probably is Queen of Shadows. I've heard arguments that the series could have ended at Queen of Shadows. I mean, yeah, but it didn't have to. It's not like with the Moral Instruments where, like, it truly just could have ended at book number 3. But, you know, some people view it that way, and that's fine. That's just not how I view it. So with Queen of Shadows, I really don't have much to say about it, despite how much happens in that book. I mean, I don't know. I was sad about Kaol. I was happy about Aelin and Rowan. It's also the only book in the series, other than Air of Fire, where I like Aedion. Aedion? No. Okay? He sucks. Next up, we have Empire Storms, and we're going to be playing this in Paris Syndrome. Empire Storms is pretty funny when it came out because up until this point, the series was PG-13. It was all good. But then you read Empire Storms, it's just like,
What the fuck? Is this allowed? What the fuck? Is that allowed?
so of course that did not make or break the whole entire novel, but it was just a bit of a change in terms of what was being presented to us, you know? Or even the whole entire rating of the series. So with just the cringy sex scenes that we did not really expect to be experiencing, and then also Aelin annoying me, and Rowan annoying me, and Kaol not being there, and then Dorian is a sad boy depressed emo, and Manon is actually, she's the girl. She is the Beyonce of this series, to be honest. Then Alid also. Eli and Lucan. Oof. 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 My favorite Throne of Glass couple, to be honest. Oh, they were also introduced in Empire Storms. So, did I say Loken? Lurkin. His name is Lurkin Loken now, so it does kind of add up. Next up, we have Tower of Dawn. Tower of Dawn is iconic. Some people will disagree with that, but I think it's true. I just feel like it was a nice breath of fresh air. I miss Kaol. We finally got inside Nesrin's head. Her romance with Sartak. Chef's kiss. I will never forget when he was like, well, I surely would have taken all night. I respect the confidence. So next up, we have Kingdom of Ash, and I don't feel like it's Paris Syndrome, and I don't feel like it's iconic. So I'm at a loss here. You know what? I feel like if I can't justify putting it in iconic, then it just has to go to Paris Syndrome. Even if I can't really interpret my feelings. Which I know is probably very annoying for you, the viewer, and for me, the viewee? I don't know. I've only read Kingdom of Ash once, for starters. I reread every single book in the series except Kingdom of Ash because I was trying to not read it because I was really mad at Sarah J. Maas for just never having an ounce of diversity. Eventually I caved and read it because it was gifted to me and it was just sitting really nice and pretty on my shelf. So why not? As you guys have kind of picked up on in this video, I did not really solidify a lot of my feelings about these books that I have mentioned until I reread them. And I haven't reread Kingdom of Ash. So I remember I read it in a day, I finished it, and I cried. And I rarely cry while reading, but I cried because this is the series that made me who I am today. In a way. I guess my parents also get some credit. I don't know. I feel like Iconic. I don't, Paris Syndrome. Iconic. We're going to be putting it in iconic because unlike the books on Paris Syndrome, there's been nothing that's changed my viewpoint on Kingdom of Ash. Next up we have A Court of Thorns and Roses, and for me, it's not hell but Florida. I honestly just don't like the book that much. The one thing I did like about A Court of Thorns and Roses was Tamlin and Feyre. That didn't work out well. So no, I just don't like the book. I mean, I'm not mad about what happened with Tamlin and Feyre. I think it was not wonderful. It was obviously a very toxic and abusive relationship. But in terms of storytelling, it did change the game for the series, and it was phenomenal for Reason, who we all now know and love. I don't love him like that, but y'all do. That's okay. But I just don't really like the book, you know. Honestly, I didn't even want to read Akamesh until people just kept on raving about it. So next up we have Akamesh. If I had to explain to you why Akamesh is iconic, then I might as well explain to you why murder is wrong, why the sky is blue, why dogs are better than cats. It's obvious. You know it's iconic. When Akamesh came out, it changed BookTube. It changed Book Twitter. It was all we could talk about for months. And I've only seen something quite similar with Serpent and Dove and with the queen that is the Wicked King. I love Akamesh. It was the best thing I never wanted to do, which is how a lot of people would really describe me, if you know what I mean. Akamesh, great book. Good job, Sarah. ACOWAR was bad. I was actually not expecting to put it this low, but it was bad. And what even happened? I've already said this in the past. I have no idea what happened in this book, okay? And I remember almost everything. So the fact that this whole entire book is just this hazy memory for me says a lot. I have no idea what happened or why things happened. I remember I just felt annoyed, and the only good thing to come out of this book is Azriel choking the heck out of Biran. Lastly, and most definitely least, we have A Court of Frost and Starlight. I feel like A Court of Frost and Starlight is a book that people either have, I'm not going to say convinced themselves because we all have differing opinions, but have deluded themselves. Why did we get it? It's supposed to bridge us to the next book, but honestly, we already know that the next book's going to be about Nesta and Cassian, and we just could have had a prologue about what was going on with Nesta. Am I lying? Am I lying? Could have had a nice little time skip, could have been caught up. We all would have pretty much got it because 90% of the book was fan fiction. Yeah. I just feel like me going into extreme detail about why I'm so disappointed in and extremely disapproving of A Court of Frost and Skylight is the equivalent of people that are still making videos about Jeffree Star. Oh my god, Jeffree Star exposed, Jeffree Star canceled. The people that care have already canceled him. The people that don't care aren't gonna give a crap about the video. And if they are watching it, it's just so they can comment about how much they disagree with you. And quite frankly, I don't have the time. I mean, I do, but I don't want to give you it. That was kind of rude. I'm so sorry. Honestly, if you like it, you like it. The thing about being fan fiction is that there's really nothing about it that can truly rock the boat, if you know what I mean. It's like, it's fun, but I was not looking for light and fun. I want heavy and hellish, and I just did not get it. So that was all I had for you guys today. I hope that you guys really enjoyed and liked this video. If you did, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. Consider subscribing, which, by the way, I am a sucky YouTuber. Thank you guys so much for 1,000 subscribers. I really don't think I deserve it considering how MIA I've been. But somehow, some way we got there, and my heart is so full. So thank you so much. I hope to have a video out next week. I'm really gonna try. I pinky promise. I pinky promise. If there's not one, feel free to harass me. I love attention, even the negative type. But yeah, I hope to see you guys next time. Bye.